Louis Johnston Jr., founder of Layman Lessons, AmericanConstitutionCenter.org, PatriotPastors.net. Louis Johnston Jr. from the War Zone.
The Holy Bible tells us we are to be good stewards of all that God gives us, our time, our talents, our money. We are to be good stewards of all of God's gifts to us. Is there any exception for our nation that God gave us? The nation America, the home of the free and the brave. The gift of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, to worship our God Jehovah and serve Him. Certainly, we can be good stewards of America in many ways, but none is more important than how we vote. For you see, we are given the liberty, the right, and the duty, moral obligation to vote for leaders who most closely align with our God Jehovah and His agenda, not the agenda of a political party or the fads of the day. We must be loyal to God, Jehovah. Now, you're voting one way or another. In every election, Christians decide who is elected. I was in a huge church this past Sunday visiting a friend of many years, and the pastor said he's getting sick and tired of hearing all about the presidential election. He said, we in America have survived 2 world wars and the Holocaust, and we'll survive these days. It doesn't matter who's president. It only matters that Jesus is Lord. Well, I cringed at that because, Pastor, it does matter who's president. And it's because our pulpits are not sounding that alarm and energizing people and informing and inspiring Christians and Judeo-Christians with Judeo-Christian values to understand America is God's gift to us, and we're to be good stewards of it, and we are to elect and appoint people who align with His interests, not the selfish interests of any other group or person, including ourselves. We vote one way or another. In the past few elections, 50 million Christians have not voted in the presidential election. So therefore, we are electing by default anti-Christian leadership of America. We're either voting for God's agenda or against God's agenda. Now, we're voting for every other reason, for race, for economic privileges, and to steal from some people who earn money to give to other people who don't. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not saddle thy children and precious grandchildren with debt. It's morally wrong. It's theft. It is stealing from our posterity to run up the national debt. We should be voting to cut spending, to cut our national debt back to zero. There's been no talk of that, only how much we're going to increase our spending every year. That's not biblical. It's not God's ways, and America has paid a dear price for it. So if you're not even registered to vote as a Christian, how are you going to face God and tell Him some excuse for why you weren't a good steward of the great gift that He gave us of America, of your personal liberty and the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? If it's our pleasure we put first instead of God's agenda, we'll all answer for that. Please register to vote right now. You can do it by mail. Just call in your county election commission, ask them to mail you the information you need to register to vote. It's 15 minutes. Is it not worth it to be a good steward, to be informed, about the leadership of our nation so that our precious grandchildren won't be born into slavery? That's right, slavery. Economic slavery we're already in. They're already going to be born into economic slavery. Also cultural slavery and even religious slavery. All because we Christians, Judeo-Christians in America, did not register and vote. No excuse for that. Fix it today.
Louis Johnston Jr. from the War Zone. Louis is the founder of Layman Lessons, which facilitated over 1 million meals to feed the homeless last year, all with an unpaid staff. He is NBA educated and author of over 10 books, published articles, and has crafted dozens of pieces of legislation. He founded AmericanConstitutionCenter.org, an online public library for Judeo-Christian heritage. PatriotPastors.net was launched for training Christian pastors and patriots. BlueWingUSA.com provides a bridge between business needs, solutions, marketing, and media strategies. Louis Johnston Jr. from the War Zone. LouisJohnston.com.